I was just thinking here for just a moment, and I was sharing it with my wife about one of the experiences of discipline that they used and employed while I was in the military when I was in the 82nd Airborne Division down in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. There was a soldier. We were all privates at the time. There was a soldier. Now you have to understand that the military, they teach you, but after they teach you, they don't sit up there and grab you by your hand and show you everything you need to do concerning life. They expect for you to be responsible, especially if you are a man and now you are a husband and a father. That's how the military works. So anyway, for instance, I lived off base. I lived off base in a townhouse when I was in the military, and I was a private then. And so, a lot of times they don't have housing available on post for privates and stuff, so you have to live off base. So anyway, there was this one particular soldier. He had continued over and over and over again to miss formation. Formation in the military every single day is an accountability thing because, they take it very serious about people being their brother's keeper. And we have formation every morning and every evening prior to the end of business in that day. Sometimes we'd have formation 3 times a day. It just all depends. But anyway, this soldier, after receiving counseling, after being put on extra duty, after having write-ups and stuff, for some reason, I guess since he thought that after he had passed boot camp, jump school, AIT, and all this other stuff, that now he's in permanent parting, I just assumed by action, even though I know he may not believed it, but I just assumed by action that he thought that he probably just had a 9-to-5 job or whatever it is, and he could just show up anytime he wanted to show up to work, and because there's no clock to punch in the military. Anyway, there was a time we were set to be at formation, and we had to be there at that time every single day. Well, this man missed formation a lot, and this was the discipline. Now, mind you, we talking about a young man who had a wife and a child, and he lived off base. His corrective measures and actions, this is what the military said. This is what they did. They let him keep his family off base. And did you hear the word that I said? Yeah, I said they let him keep his family in the area off base. But they moved him into the barracks for correction just to make sure that he can make formation. Can you believe that? In other words, they gave him a curfew that he needed to be in this barracks every single night in order to get up and make formation every single morning because he had a problem and trouble with that. Well, needless to say, guess what? They got his attention. And after about 30 days of that, and boy, his wife was highly upset. But that's the one thing that people don't understand. When you belong to the military, you belong to the military. You are a federal citizen. And what you think is totally irrelevant. What you believe is totally irrelevant. Period. Now, in the civilian sector world, you people will lose your mind if people put that type of discipline on someone. Because remember, you're free, right? You're free. And the military, they fight to make sure that you have your rights to be free, don't they? Well, see, these are extreme measures of discipline that soldiers have to deal with constantly. When the military doesn't see things the way that you think that you ought to see them or the way you see fit. They don't do it that way. And telling some of you out there never had an experience, you think it's extreme measure. But, normally you would call any organization oppressive or a cult or something like that if they employ that type of discipline out here in the world. But if it's in the military, none of you say anything. But man, that wife was upset, highly upset. She wanted him to get out too. Of course, when you're under obligation, you're under contract, you just can't go kick the traces and get out. You have to fulfill your duty. Unless, now you can't get out. You can get out with a dishonorable discharge. And then when you go to apply for a job, guess what's going to pop up? Your previous military career or your last job or employment. And they're going to see that dishonorable discharge when they do that background check on you. And it messes you up. It messes you up good. So, they have a way, many, many ways to make sure you comply with authority. You will do what you are told. This world is very deceitful. It's an illusion. And that's the reason why even here on YouTube, most people can't even understand or begin to comprehend our level of discipline and straight way, the ministry in itself, and the way we care. So we just don't play games with people's souls. We don't toy around with them, and we don't put up with a bunch of foolishness when it concerning to life right there. And I tell you, what would have been your response or reaction? Because if you're in the military, you already know what your response and action is going to be. But what about all you people who have never, ever, ever heard of that type of level of discipline? Needless to say, those corrective measures, it got his attention. It corrected him real good. It sure did. Because as long as I knew that soldier when he was in a unit, he never missed another formation. So you see, even though correction at the time may seem grievous unto you, but look what it did. It actually brought him in line. And it actually got him on the same sheet of music as everybody else. So did it not work? Did it not work? Could you actually be under that type of correction and under that type of scrutiny in order to improve you as a man or woman in life? Or would you murmur and gripe and complain and still things are not going to get any better? Which one is it? Tell me. What do you say about that?